This is our place, New Zealand. 2 islands lying way south in the Pacific Ocean, surrounded by sea. It was a long time before anybody got here, and we're the last discovered habitable place in the world. And we're really spoiled by nature here. Our home is in the Waikato, which means flowing water. It's natural farming country because we can grow great grass here. We've got the perfect combination of sunshine, rain, and year-round mild temperatures. This is where we farm our goats. As with all our farms, it is only a short day's drive to where we dry their fresh milk. For us, it matters to do this one thing and do it right. We want to pass it on to our grandkids as rich and pure as we found it. And it's the same every step of the way. This is personal for us. From our land to you. From our family to yours.
분당 서울대병원이 평균 26주 만에 태어나 체중이 800g 정도밖에 안 되는 초미숙아들을 2그룹으로 나눠 연구했습니다. 초유를 먹은 아기들은 먹지 않은 아기들에 비해 일주일 만에 면역력이 2.7배나 높아졌습니다. 뿐만 아니라 초유를 2주 정도 먹였더니 염증 수치도 절반 가까이 떨어졌습니다. 초미숙아들의 생명을 앗아가는 폐혈증의 위험까지 절반으로 낮췄습니다. 미숙아들은 젖을 빠는 힘이 없고 소화 능력도 떨어지기 때문에 볼 안쪽 점막에 초유를 넣어 흡수시키는 방법을 택했더니 효과가 좋았습니다.
초유에 있는 좋은 면역 성분을 구강 내 점막에 저희가 이제 림프 조직이 있거든요. 그거를 자극해 줄 수 있는 소량의 초유를 구강 내에 묻혀줬고 그랬을 때 면역 인자들이 상승하고
소초유란 분만한 지 5일 이내의 젖소로부터 짜낸 젖을 말합니다. 일반 우유에 비해 면역 글로불린이 100배나 되어 이상적으로 보였습니다. 단백질은 소화 흡수율이 높아야 면역력도 높아지는데 우유 단백질의 소화 흡수율은 개인차가 있었습니다. 그래서 소초유보다 흡수율이 높고 면역 기능도 우수한 소재를 찾기로 했습니다. 그리고 마침내 이 2가지가 모두 보강된 산양초유를 발견하게 됩니다. 산양초유에는 질 좋은 수용성 단백질, 비타민, 미네랄이 다량 함유되어 있었고 무엇보다 그 조성이 엄마의 젖은 모유와 흡사해 사람에게 거부감이 없으며 특히 소화 흡수율도 높은 특징이 있었습니다. 미국, 유럽, 한국 등의 많은 OEM 업체들을 찾았지만 산양초유와 같은 희귀 소재는 취급해 본 적이 없어 못하겠다는 것이었습니다. 그래서 연구원들은 전 세계를 뒤졌고 마침내 생산 가능한 업체를 찾게 됩니다. 그런데 문제가 있었습니다. 핵심 소재인 산양초유는 희소한 소재라 원료 확보가 쉽지 않았고 국내로 들여오는 통관 관세도 무려 170%나 되었던 것입니다. 하지만 좋은 원료를 포기할 순 없었기에 높은 비용을 지불하고 국내로 들여왔습니다. 회사는 원재료 투자비가 약 3배 이상 증가한 것을 알았습니다. 그리고 마진이 크지 않은 제품을 출시할 것인지 깊은 고민에 빠졌습니다. 하지만 프로틴 흡수에 예민한 사람들에게 큰 도움이 되겠다는 연구진의 의견을 받아들여 제품 출시가 결정되었습니다.
Velvet, also known as velvet antler, can be defined as deer antlers during their phase of rapid growth. During its annual growth cycle, velvet antler can grow up to 2 centimetres a day before eventually hardening as it calcifies. This phenomenon has intrigued scientists about the cell regeneration properties of velvet and may explain why it has been so prized by medical professionals throughout the centuries. Velvet antler is grown in one of the world's most pristine and natural farming environments. Deer are farmed outdoors on land that stretches from lush green pastures to rugged snow-capped peaks. New Zealand's relative isolation and efficient border controls have ensured a high standard of animal health and prevent the risk of the introduction of new diseases. New Zealand's farmed animals are free from many of the diseases that affect animals in other parts of the world. As a consequence, New Zealand velvet antler is of a recognised excellent quality, sought after by Asian medicine professionals and discerning consumers alike. Modern deer farming techniques were first pioneered in New Zealand in the early 1970s. Selective importation and advanced breeding and nutritional programs have rapidly improved the quantity and size of New Zealand deer. Today's national herd of well over 1.2 million animals includes some of the world's finest bloodlines. New Zealand farmed deer are fed on the purest vegetation, consisting of natural grass pastures, crops and herbs. And it is important to note that no artificial additives or growth hormones are ever used in New Zealand deer farming.
It's a growing market. The demand for goat meat in the worldwide is huge. It's the most eaten meat in the world. And we can't produce enough for the markets to absorb. In the last sort of 10 years that I've been farming goats, we've had trouble with these big meat companies not killing when we want to, and it suited them. They penalised us pretty heavily for animals that were over heavy. And now these marketing companies that we're dealing with now are paying good money, they're paying premium for the right animals, and they are getting killed on a regular basis, which is something we've been wanting for a long time. Graded with other farm or other stock, we're enhancing the other stock that they had, whether it be cattle or sheep. If you bring in small amounts to do weed control,
figures indicate that a boar cross on Australian ferals will reach meat size in half the time of the ferals. My aim with breeding boars is to breed easy care.
Basically, I came down here and joined Tony and Neil and others who had already come down here to target the Central Otago area because climatically and plant-wise, it is probably one of the world's. We have a reasonable spread of genetic, and that's partly due to some of the imported lines that have come through. But the problem we faced with imported animals was to actually go through the genetic and find the animals that were going to be suitable for our style of farming in New Zealand. Once we have secured that, then we'll have a better idea of the width of genetic. It will certainly have narrowed by that time. I think we must maximise the qualities of the boar goat. It's superb temperament.